Font display. Block genuinely hides this real headline until a font arrives. Let's measure how much later that real text actually paints. A custom web font has to genuinely finish downloading before the browser can use it to paint real text, and font display. Block hides that text entirely until the font arrives, a real problem called FOIT. Font display. Swap shows a fallback font immediately instead, then swaps in the real custom font once it loads. Real text visibility is worth more than a perfectly matched font a few hundred milliseconds sooner. When a page uses a custom web font, the browser has to genuinely decide what to do with real text using that font while the actual font file is still downloading in the background. This real, spec-defined browser behavior genuinely hides any text set in this font entirely, actually invisible until the font loads, or a real timeout of a few seconds passes without one. This demo intentionally serves the real font file from a local server with an artificial delay, because a font that fails fast resolves too quickly to actually demonstrate the real problem here. The actual real headline, the very first thing a visitor should read, is genuinely blank on screen for this whole span, even though the rest of the page has already fully rendered around it. Flash of invisible text is the real, common name for this exact behavior, text that's fully there in the DOM but genuinely renders as nothing until the font actually resolves. This real one-word change tells the browser to immediately show the text in a fallback system font, then swap to the custom font only once it actually finishes loading in the background. The exact same real headline, the exact same real custom font eventually applied, the only genuine difference is the text was never invisible to the reader while waiting for it. A visitor might genuinely notice a subtle font change a moment after the page loads. That's a much smaller real cost than several seconds of blank, unreadable headline text. Search your real CSS for font display, block, or no font display property at all, which defaults to block-like behavior in most real browsers, and switch every one of them to swap. This real value tells the browser to use the fallback and simply skip the custom font entirely if it doesn't arrive fast enough, genuinely prioritizing speed over exact brand typography. If a fallback font is noticeably wider or narrower than the real custom one, swapping between them can genuinely cause a visible layout shift worth picking a real fallback with similar metrics. Just like the hero image in episode 3, preloading a real critical font file tells the browser to fetch it earlier, genuinely shrinking the real window where invisible or swapped text is possible. Loading a font from an external real service adds a genuine extra DNS lookup and connection. Hosting the real font file yourself removes that one dependency from the critical path entirely. Next, real third-party scripts and the render blocking trap they set.